Hi there.
Howdy. How are you?
Fine. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you just fine.
I can hear you just fine. Okay.
Mike's a little low on volume, but I heard him.
I can turn it up if necessary, or just talk louder.
I can hear you. I can hear you just fine.
I'll do
Yeah,
it.
you're
Hey, Morris!
you need to shade that window a little bit though. You are really blurred out.
I'm almost blind from that window.
Yeah.
So what's going on?
Well, this has nothing to do with anything that we normally talk about. But the other day, after seeing the Pratt and Whitney jet engine failure, I wrote out a little email. And if I can put that on the screen here.
Should be able to.
Okay. Let's see here. There we go. I'll just read it because it may be a little light. Ace Hardware confirmed today that Pratt & Whitney had been ordering and receiving 3/16 stainless steel pop rivets for the PW4000 engine rebuilds. However, an examination of the paperwork revealed that a part-time employee and high school freshman had supplied white aluminum 1/8 inch by 1/8 inch pop rivets, not realizing there was a difference. The spokesperson for Pratt & Whitney said it was an honest mistake with no ill will involved. So there's a picture of the engine with an arrow pointing to a failed aluminum pop rivet and a good one. And it says, because the part-time employee is a minor, their face and name have been withheld, but we were able to glimpse this tattoo. I don't know whether you can see the tattoo or not.
Yes.
Now, that's not the funny part. Let me see if I can get rid of this. We'll stop sharing the screen. What's funny is I got an email back that says, if they had ordered directly from the manufacturer, I'm sure they could have eliminated this mistake and gotten a better price. And they weren't joking. I thought, this is so obviously a spoof that no one on their right mind would believe this. Oh, well.
It's just sufficiently crazy that it might be true.
Never mind. When I was in graduate school, I had a fellow student who told the most outrageous lies, but he did it in such a way that you'd say, I know he's lying. That can't possibly be true. I know he's lying, but, and so he was employed by a manufacturer of pharmaceuticals, and he came in to the cafeteria after having visited the pharmaceutical production facility, and he had a hairnet on. And these two computer guys had said, hey, you're still wearing your hairnet. He goes, oh, I'm just trying to get used to the new rules. And they said, what new rules? He says, oh, forget it. I shouldn't have said anything. Just forget I said anything about this at all. Well, naturally, this fires up the interest. And they start pressing him. And he says, well, there have been manufacturing problems, and management has decided to go with a facility-wide hairnet policy. And they said, well, we're not wearing a hairnet in our office, we're working on the computer. He says, look, They ran it by safety and health, wanted to see what our opinion of it was. It's not my idea. Just forget I said anything about this. Well, naturally, these two guys go out and stir up the townspeople with the pitchforks and torches. And several weeks later, he's called into the facilities manager's office, and they said, "Did you start this rumor?" And and his response was, "Well, in retrospect, it probably wasn't a good idea." But as I said, he would tell you, for example, Monday, how was your weekend? Oh, pretty good. I had to spend it in jail though. Cops picked me up for sniffing girls' bicycle seats again. It's like just outrageous thing.
This was a classmate of yours?
Yeah, yeah. Um, yeah,
He had a future in stand-up comedy, that's for sure.
oh. He had, without getting too far afield, he had been in the Navy, as other people I know, and was a scrub nurse in the operating room. And he continued to earn enough money to go to school by working as an OR nurse on the weekends. And he was always pretty much closed mouthed about it. But one day he said, there are so many C-sections occur on Friday because the doctors don't want to be bothered over the weekend. And it's like, wow. That wasn't a joke. That was
Actually, there are some statistics that support that.
Well, I apologize. I just had to get that white pop ribbon in there.
Eh. Jim.
Well, I'll tell you what my news is. My news is that theoretically, if I don't get busted for not being an Ohio resident, I am going to get my first COVID-19 vaccine shot tomorrow. So we'll see how that goes.
I finished my second one yesterday, and at no time did they ever inquire or ask for proof of residency.
Did they ask for a proof of personhood? In other words, did they ask for a photo ID?
No.
Really?
Really, I had filled out all the paperwork ahead of time, including my Medicare ID number. I walked in, showed them the paper where they had scheduled me, and they said, okay. I was kind of surprised by that too.
Well, maybe they looked at the poster on the wall and said, oh, that's the guy.
That's him.
Well, we'll see. I've got an appointment tomorrow, and my wife has an appointment tomorrow. We got to drive 50 miles to get to it, but it's
Wow.
well, the problem is that there's such a shortage that the minute there's appointments come available on almost any field, whether it's CVS or Walmart or county health, whatever, the minute that comes available, bam, within 2 or 3 minutes, they're all gone.
We logged on when the criteria stepped down to 70 and above. We logged on at just a few minutes after 12, and everything in 2 counties was gone for Monday and Tuesday.
Well, we couldn't find anything in Clermont County, which is where we live. And we basically looked several times a day, every day. Um, but we finally got a lead uh, and to something, and it turns out, as I say, we've got to drive about 50 miles to get to it. But the alternative was that we could get a for sure appointment at Kaiser in Sterling, Virginia. Well, I don't know if you've ever driven to Sterling, Virginia, but basically, if you draw a straight line between my house and Sterling, Virginia, it goes right through the mountains of West Virginia. So you either can't get there from here, or what you've got to do is go north to 70,
Mm.
east to 74, and then south into Virginia. And that's the only way you can, well, I suppose you could go down to Raleigh, North Carolina and get up there also. But point is that the mileage would be about 3 times as long and so forth and so on. So uh, we just kept looking in Ohio. And as I say,
Yes.
you know, so you said the trick in your case was simply to have that paperwork filled out ahead of time and you turn it in, and
I
that's
just took it and said, here I am. It says I'm supposed to be here at 6:30. And
mhm.
they looked down on their list and said, Sullivan 6:30, go that way.
Now this was in a pharmacy or in a
CVS.
I'm sorry.
CVS.
So it was in CVS. So we got our flu shots this fall at CVS, and that was slick. As a matter of fact, I have to say, I take a lot of injections, including insulin injections I do myself. And I have to say the pharmacist that did that injection, you know, I had to look to see if she'd actually stuck me with a needle. It was really smooth. So
Well,
on the other hand, I've had some injections over the years that where they I think, is it a masochist or a sadist that tortures people? And I'll tell you something else. I would never let my doctor or any other doctor give me an injection, because the last time they did an injection, it was into an orange in medical school for the most part. Doctors don't give injections, generally speaking. So,
my wife's grandmother became a registered nurse in 1931. And at that time, nurses were not allowed to touch the patients. They took care of the flowers. And and everything else was done by the doctor. And that changed radically. And you're correct. The last time a physician probably gave anyone an injection was in medical school, and they probably failed that. But the first injection that I got was several weeks ago, and my wife had been a medic in the Navy, and she said that this was the longest needle she'd ever seen. They're really honking.
but they don't shove it all the way in either.
Well, I'm not turned off by needles. As you, I give myself 4 or 5 injections a day, so no big deal for needle threat. But um, it was an extremely long needle. If it wasn't an inch and an eighth or an inch and a quarter, I'd be surprised.
Well, they've got to accommodate those with a fuller figure, so to speak. Okay. It's a small injection, though. I understand it's only 3/10 of a cc. So
That's correct. I looked at it yesterday when they had drawn it up, and it was 3/10 of a mil.
Well, the thing is with, if you're doing insulin injections, which I do several times a day, uh, those are a real tiny needle and they're very short. You would have to go right over your breastbone to hit a bone. I mean, they're just, I think they're like 6/10 of a centimeter long, something like that.
Yeah, the 31 gauge, or they go in so smoothly you don't even notice it.
Yeah. Unless you happen to hit a blood vessel.
Yeah.
And then you've got, particularly if you hit a little artery, it gets pretty exciting. So I didn't mean to take over the situation here. So I'm sure that Leroy has some toys.
Not yet, but I did
Really?
order a bunch of stuff.
Oh, really?
And I just got notified that my FedEx shipment has been shipped. So I should have something in 2 days.
So is this domestic, or this is not coming from eBay, I assume?
No, this is DigiKey.
Oh, okay.
I ordered a bunch of M5 stack stuff. Because I could, I guess. Couple of robots. Let me see if I can pull the order up. Some more of these stick Cs, because I really like those.
I saw you hold up something, but I couldn't tell quite what it was.
A little orange piece of plastic.
It's a little orange piece of plastic with a screen in it.
Okay.
So is that a
ESP32.
no, but what's the screen?
Oh, TFT. It's a small one. It's like 80 by 160.
But now that's not an OLED, is it?
No.
This is a regular touch screen.
It's not even a touch screen. It's just a TFT screen.
Oh,
yeah, it's
bright.
too bright. It's too bright.
Right,
Can't see it.
Yeah.
Now, when you turned it in to look at the end, it looked like it was a USB connection. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yep. So the USB-C and then a Grove port so that you can hook up external stuff. And then it's got three additional pins you can use and an additional power header on the top.
Okay. Now, you said 3 additional, and I didn't quite hear what you said.
3 additional I/O pins that you can
okay.
use. So I ordered 3 more of those, and then I ordered 3 of its bigger brother, which is the Plus, which has a bigger screen basically. And then I ordered. It won't let me log in. Let me log in. I ordered a robot, another self-balancing robot. I ordered a couple. I don't know if I showed you the little M5 Atoms. The Atoms don't have the screen, and they're about half the size. They're about yay big, and they're building a whole ecosystem around those now. They're tiny. They're tiny. And I ordered a GPS for the Atom, and I ordered something else for the Atom. But they're also cheap. Like the Atoms are only like $6. So usually when you order the GPS, it's $21 for the GPS, but they include an Atom with it. So you get another. So I got a stack of Atom processors because I ordered a bunch of the stuff. If that makes sense. But
So they just throw this in as a party favor, so to speak.
The at least for the Atom, the M5 Atom. Here. The M5 Atoms are cheap enough that I guess they give you everything you need with it to make it work. Vicente's here.
Yeah, Vicente's trying to get in. Yo, Vicente.
Vicente's here.
Hi.
Hi there.
So
Now, we showed a picture of your tattoo earlier.
What?
No, Mike, you gotta show him what you're talking about.
this little thing right here, that's the Atom. It raises up off of that. So that's what it looks like. So there's a GPS, it's $21, but like the Atom is like $6 or $6.50. $5, $6. That's the Atom. And it's an ESP32 without a whole lot of IO to it. So they've got these modular deals that you could plug them into. But I guess because they're so cheap, they pretty much give you a modular deal with anything that you order. So that's the other thing I ordered was the 2D barcode scanner. I don't know why I wanted that. I just decided that I needed it. And I ordered a couple of these battery packs. These are, the Atom does not have a battery in them. Probably, due to size. So the battery pack, so the Atom sits on top of the battery pack.
So what is a little lithium ion battery?
Yeah. And the battery packs do not come with an Atom. They only charge $6 for the battery pack in the first place. So they don't come with an Atom. But they've tried to do like a whole entire ecosystem around these tiny little Atoms. Like there's a TF card that comes with an Atom. See, that's only $11. So basically you're paying for the Atom. I've got a couple of these. These are Atom with an LED matrix in them. So I've got a couple of those, and they just the smaller Atom, the one without the LED in it, you just pull it off and you can pop that one in there, and it works just exactly the same way. So I guess that's what they're doing now, is building this whole ecosystem around it, or trying to. And the Atom is small enough that it's out of stock. They even made a Atom quadcopter out of it. So it's small enough and light enough that happens. And Ray's here, and Vicente's here. And I'm Batman.
Okay.
I knew that was going to happen. So what's going on, Vicente?
Nothing, just
That exciting, huh?
you remember I tried to use the Pico to drive several converters. It's working. this?
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, there is a library for the HX711. It's a chip that is a analog digital converter, 24 bits for strange gauge, for wisdom bridges, you know, very high sensitivity. And they are used also for the pressure sensor. Is the same principle. The pressure sensor also have a strain gauge micro machining in the chip. So it's the same chip as this one. So I try to read pressure from 6 sensors simultaneously. The sensor is 10 samples per second. I need all the sensors 10 samples per second. I don't want to wait for each one. And this thing is not I2C. It's a proprietary protocol. So I download the library for the chip and break it apart, all the library, and find out a way to talk with 6 chips simultaneously. And it's working. That's the idea. But my library becomes like three small functions instead of all the stack of library that has a lot of functions that you don't use. So I make it more compact, and 3 functions in my program do that easily. So it's working very nice. I left it working for several days, and it's working consistently, reading all the chips simultaneously. So
Cool.
fine.
What environment do you have where the pressure changes that rapidly?
Well, it's because I am using the sensor, the pressure sensor. I am trying to design a movement sensor. You know, I need to check when anyone press or bend the tube of the sensor.
Okay.
For a robot, you know, there's several sensors in a robot. So I need at least 10 times per second to react fast. You know, if you spend 100 milliseconds in each sensor, you almost have a couple of samples every second, maybe too slow for several stuff. For I want to use it to detect a collision, for example, all around the robot, and instantly know in what direction is the collision to get away from the obstacle, you know? So 10 times per second is not much to react faster, to react fast. But maybe I will use a bicycle tire, you know, to check when something hit the tire, and create an alarm and stop the robot or something. I'm just experimenting with the pressure sensor. This $3 each, so it's okay. Finally, I found the glue for the silicone, $16 in Amazon, but it's pretty good. You glue silicone and you cannot separate it. It's very good. I use the silicone to glue the tube to a 30 cents sensor, pressure sensor. So my solution now is under 50 cents, you know, and you can press the tube and the sensor detects the change. So this glue is fantastic.
Cool.
So is that a 2-part epoxy kind of a thing, or is
No, it looks like the silicone, transparent silicone we use to seal water or
Like
the daily use silicone, you know, that is transparent. It's the same, it smells the same, but it's different. It glues the silicone tubes very strong, or the glue the silicone to anything. In this case, it's a PCB with a barometric sensor for the sensor is to check the altitude. Okay, but I am simulating a change in the atmosphere when I press the tube. So it works also very nice. This sensor is I2C, so you can use several theoretically because all of them have the same address. So it's a problem, but luckily the Raspberry Pi Pico has 10 I2C ports, so you can connect stuff with the same address all around and just change your I2C command for different pins, and you can scan very quickly with the I2C. Also the sensor that is I2C. So that's it.
Cool. Anything new, Ray?
How's the building?
Ray.
What's that?
I got filament, and I bought some the Raspberry Pi Picos. I was coming from New York last week, and I decided to stop by the Columbus Micro Center store. It's actually really nice. I think they have more stuff than the Cincinnati Micro Center store does.
It's the biggest, I think. They start there in Columbus.
I think the Columbus store is pretty nice. Everybody there is pretty nice, polite to me. But there's, I feel like I'm almost a little bit out of date as far as how much different computer stuff is available. I was impressed that they do have more drone supplies. They have more photography supplies. I was really impressed with how much they have as far as like if you want to set up a home, what do they call it, a streaming casting system,
like a media center.
Yeah, so they've got little media centers. You
podcast
microphones that the anti-popping barriers,
microphones.
Yeah. So if you want to do a podcasting, they've got the whole setups for all that stuff there. So you got cheap cameras and good cameras and really great cameras.
Whatever you want to pay.
Yeah, I was actually kind of surprised that like my GoPro Hero. I'm starting to feel old. Like, oh, I have a GoPro Hero 3 and a GoPro Hero 4. What? I think there's an 8 and a 9 out now. So.
Well, that was yesterday.
Even like a GoPro Hero 6, and they're real cheap.
Yeah. Well, welcome to the 22nd century or whatever this is, right?
Yeah, it's the 21st century.
21st century. Yeah.
Yeah, 2021. We're not 2020, 2021 something yet.
2020.
So anyway, I got my PLA filament, which I was expecting to be a lot more expensive, but it's not. I ended up buying 4 rolls. They each come with their own little spooler or spool thing. I made sure I got the right. I think I got the right size diameter.
1.75.
It should be 1.75, but I didn't even look at the box, man. I just bought it.
That's one of the most common sizes.
Yeah. I seriously didn't even look. Yeah, these are all 1.75. I feel better now.
Look there.
Black, brown, red, and orange. Figure I'll make whatever I want with my little stack here.
Yeah.
So, I've been having problems with my ABS delaminating and coming off of the substrate board, and everybody says, "Oh yeah, just switch to PLA." So this is actually PLA Plus, and the difference between PLA Plus is just that
what's different. What's different in PLA Plus?
The PLA Plus is supposed to be like the happy ground between PLA and ABS,
Okay.
but you don't have to have a heated chamber, and you don't have to have a heated bed. So you just go onto a cool bed, dismount it,
Okay.
and
I-
still
I-
strong.
I'll be waiting for your results with it. I like it.
I'm gonna try it. But
You got your printer finally put together, Vicente?
No.
No.
I bought a new printer. It's a Rosin printer. You see?
Yeah.
That's the one that's still in the box.
Yeah. And there is the Rosin in the box over it.
I was
No,
gonna
but-
buy another Ender Pro version 5 or a version 6. I thought the best way to get it up and running quick is to let Leroy play with it for a couple days.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. He would have it up and running. Then I'm just like, okay, Leroy, would you please give
Put
it back?
aside.
Okay.
The enders are supposed to be really good.
Yeah. I've
Really
got a
good.
customer down in Florida. He's got like 10 of them
Yeah.
in his classroom at school. And he's the teacher.
The enders are supposed to be really, really, really good for the in the $300 price range market. They're supposed to be like the best.
The Ender 3 Plus is
Mhm.
right around that $250 price.
Yeah.
The Ender 5 and the Ender 6 are